Right, well hello there and welcome to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about Acer Dieback. In particular, I'm going to tell you what it is, I'm going to tell you what it definitely isn't, I'm going to tell you how to recognize it, and I'm going to tell you how to deal with it and manage it. Anyway, it's time to expand your mind. So Acer Dieback is called by a soil-borne fungus called Verticillium dahliae. And can I just ask the boffins who make up the names for these things to stop putting endless vowels on the end of words, because at the moment it makes them unpronounceable. Anyway, commonly known as Verticillium wilt, it is a big problem with acers, and I'll tell you what it does. Now, to keep it simple as I can, Verticillium wilt is a soil-borne fungus. It's water mobile and it infects your acer by entering it through the root system. Once inside the plant, it can travel throughout using the vascular bundle, in particular the xylem, which is the water carrying part of the vascular bundle. Unfortunately for your acer, as the fungal hyphae, which are the like little thready root things, and spores travel through the xylem parts can become blocked, and that's why you start to see dieback, because if the xylem is blocked, water cannot carry through, and the parts of the plant that are accessed by those parts of the xylem, they will start to dry up and die off because they can't get the water, because the water's being blocked by the fungus. Science. So let me tell you what it is not. It is not likely to be sun scorched. The majority of acers are absolutely fine in full sun, although some of the more delicate versions will require perhaps a dappled shade, but on the whole, scorching from the sun is not really an issue unless it doesn't have any water at the roots. Secondly, it is not likely to be strong winds. To start off with, you should have already planted your acer plant out of strong winds, but because most of the plants are absolutely rock solid, strong winds are not going to dry it out unless of course it has no water in the soil. So although characteristically your Verticillium wilt may look like the leaves are drying out, it is because of the Verticillium wilt. It is not because of the sun, it is not because of the wind, and it's not because your soil is too wet. Oh, the soil's too wet, it can't cope. No, they like moist soil, like it will rain, but they also like it quite moist. Most of the reasons why people think that their acer is dying is always because of an environmental factor, and I'm telling you now, most of the times your acer is dying, your dieback, is because of Verticillium wilt. So now we get on to how to recognize Verticillium wilt. Hold your horses, I've forgotten a bit, and it's an important bit. Right, now, you need to know what sun scorch does look like on acers. Well, if an acer is sun scorched, then all the top leaves are going to be blanketly scorched. What happens with the heat of the sun on the soft leaves, normally from a plant that's been grown under cover, so it's very soft, and then the whole lot, so the top of the leaves get damaged, and the top layer of cell that sort of lifts, you get a silvery kind of look, and you get that all over the top. You don't get it on the underneath ones. It's all the ones that are in the sun. The ones underneath are shaded from the sun by the ones on top. And wind scorch or drying out, well, the whole leaf is going to dry up. The whole leaf, it doesn't just dry up in little bits like a little patchwork, because Verticillium wilt is generally expressed in two ways. It normally does load of tips, or it does little bits like a patchwork in the leaf. So if it's dried up because you haven't watered it enough, then all the leaves are going to just dry off, and it's all of the leaf of all the leaves are going to dry off. And if it's wind scorch, yeah, it tends to be like one side, and again, it's not restricted to just like little points or bits in the leaf. It tends to be the whole leaf. So it is very characteristic. Each of these scorches, wind scorch, drying out, sun scorch, are very clear what they look like. Verticillium wilt does not look like that, unless of course the whole plant's dead. Then all dead plants can't look the same because all the leaves are dead. Anyway, just let's continue with what I was saying earlier. Now, regarding recognizing Verticillium wilt in acers, there are two things you need to keep an eye on, and one of those is compartmentalized dieback, and that means that like a section of branch, and that could be like, start off with just like a few small stems, and in extreme cases it could be like half the whole plant could have died back with a clear sort of like pull back of the bark, dividing the live and the dead plants of the Acer. And the second most obvious thing is the patch, like a patchwork mess of dead cells or dead sections of cells on the leaf. If you've got that like a otherwise healthy leaf, but little bits in the leaf are dead rather than the overall leaf dying in one go, then I can almost guarantee you that is Verticillium wilt. So now we come to the important part. If you have an Acer and if you've recognized it as having Verticillium wilt, then what on earth can you do about it? Well, that's going to be a bit of a tricky one, because there are no available fungicides that you can use that will actually clear up your fungal infection. At the very best, you might be able to find commercial fungicides, soil drenches, that will hold back the attack of your fungal infection, but it is not going to kill it. It will keep going. If you're going to use sort of general management, then all you can really do is try and grow your Acer in the best condition that it can possibly be, so that the growth of the plant outpaces the growth of the fungus. But to be honest with you, if you know what to look for and you see any of those signs on an Acer that you are intending to buy, then their answer is do not buy it. It is a waste of money. So you may well ask, and rightly so, why is there such a big problem with Acers and Verticillium wilt? Always windy. Well, it's because of poor hygiene practices. The Acers are grown in such massive quantities nowadays that they're often produced in large factory glass houses, and really once that infection is in place, whether it's in their soil, their compost, on the blaze where they do their cuttings, because Acers, it's only the rootstocks that are grown from seed, and seeds are virus free, but as soon as you put on a graft of the plant that you want, if that graft's already, if the graft material is already infected, then you're just going to infect the whole thing again. So it's an absolute pain in the neck. And, you know, who do you trust? Who do you trust? I don't know who you trust. So what do you do? If you bought a plant, you got it home, it looked fine, and after a few months you start to see these characteristic mottling on the leaves, and what do you do? Well, if you bought it from a reputable garden centre, keep your receipt. Most of these places will give you a 1 year or 2 year plant guarantee and take it back. And don't listen to the old flannel from the staff who aren't qualified, don't know what they're doing. They're going to tell you that, oh, you put it in the wind, oh, you put it in the sun, oh, it's too wet in the soil. It's flipping Verticillium wilt, and you want your money back. So sort it out and tell them, demand your rights as a consumer. Anyway, thank you for watching. Got anything you'd like to add, then do so, put those in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe.